If you spend any time looking at how other people have become successful in literally any area of their life, there's a recurring theme that comes up over and over and over again.
Patience.
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 Patience. Patience. And that's great. We've all heard that patience is important. We know that we're supposed to be patient, but there's one thing that always gets skipped over, and that is, how do you actually become more patient? Can you learn how to be more patient? Well, the answer is yes, you can. And I'm going to show you how in just 2 steps. Okay, so let's say that success in whatever area it is that you're chasing after is represented by a mountaintop, whether it's debt freedom, financial independence, buying an RV to live in, getting married, losing 20 pounds, finding your dream job, or even hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Whatever thing you're chasing, success, let's represent it by a mountaintop. Right now, you're standing at the bottom of the mountain and you're looking up, and you know that as part of your journey, you're going to have to be patient, because no good thing has ever come without hard work and time. Like, we know this, but impatience is constantly telling you, like, hey, this mountain is way too tall. It's way too steep. We just need to turn back now. So how do you actually go about building the patience muscle that you need in order to successfully complete your journey? Well, to keep rolling with our metaphor, we're going to use 2 trekking poles to summit our mountain and resist impatience's urge to turn around and settle for a much easier path. Now, the first trekking pole represents clarity, which directly relates to long-term thinking. Now, this is a focus on where you're going. It's a focus on the journey. It's a focus on what life looks like when you reach the top of the mountain. Achieving financial independence or even debt freedom, it's not very motivating in and of itself. What's motivating is what achieving financial independence allows you to do. Maybe it allows you to work less because you don't need as much income, and now you have more time with your kids to really watch them grow up. Or maybe it gives you the flexibility to travel the world and see other cultures because you aren't tied down by only getting 2 weeks paid vacation. Now, losing weight is the same way. Losing 20 pounds in and of itself is not very motivating, but losing 20 pounds so that you're healthier, so that you then don't need somebody else to help take care of you as you get older and you can stay independent longer, that's motivating. Now, stick around, because in a second, I'm going to give you 2 specific exercises that you can do that are going to help you get more clarity. But for now, just understand that the clearer that you can paint the picture in your head about where you're going, the easier it's going to be to stay patient. How? Well, that brings me to the second trekking pole, which is contentment. Let me ask you this. Would you want to watch a movie where the main character decides that they want something, and then because of their impatience, they just snap their fingers and all of a sudden they get it? That's it? The movie's over? No, of course not. There's no story there. There's no meaning in that. There's no change that happens. We want to see Frodo struggle and fight and have major issues that he has to overcome on his way to Mount Doom to destroy the ring. We want to see Harry have to deal with regret and pain and love and loss and even death before he's able to defeat Voldemort. This is the hero's journey that we all know and love, and our brains are literally hardwired to want to see this story. It's why every Hollywood movie follows the same basic premise. Person wants a thing. Person can't get thing because of some obstacle. Person fights the obstacle, deals with it, overcomes it, and experiences profound change along the way. Person gets the thing. Contending with the obstacle in the middle, this is what gives meaning to the outcome. If you didn't have to contend with the obstacle, if you didn't have to experience the struggle in the middle, then getting the outcome would be ultimately meaningless. And when it comes to your journey, when you get clarity around where you're going, you begin to understand that the ups and the downs and everything in between is all just simply part of the process. So you become much more content with wherever you're at. In fact, you begin to love the process that much more because you know that even if you fail, you're going to learn along the way, which is going to make the future that much better. Now, what's cool about these 2 trekking poles, clarity and contentment, is that they work together to help build your patience muscle. And as you take a step forward with clarity, you actually recognize the outcome, you recognize the journey, you see the steps along the way, and you become more content with where you're at. And then as you take a step forward with contentment, you have time to breathe, and you actually have time to think through the outcome and the journey and get a clearer picture on where it is that you're going. So you take a step, and a step, and a step, and they feed off of each other to help build your patience. And if one of them falters, you can always use the other one to help hoist yourself back up. All right, that's great. So clarity and contentment, that's how we build our patience. But how do we actually get the clarity and contentment? Well, let's start with clarity. I want you to pick a goal or something that you want to achieve in the next 1, 3, or 5 years, and then write down what's going to happen, what's life going to look like when you achieve that goal. What's it going to look like for your family, for your health, for your love life, for yourself personally? How will you feel once you're able to hit it? If it's getting out of debt, I want you to write down specific examples of how does it feel when you go to the grocery store and you're buying groceries for your family knowing that you're debt-free? What does life look like if you get into a car wreck and you're debt-free and you have an emergency fund saved up for things just like that? How does it feel? Tell me about what your life looks like on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. What do you do? What are you focused on? What do you think about? Literally write down answers to these sorts of questions. Dreaming about the future is hands down one of the best things that Hannah and I have ever done for our success, and just constantly thinking about what we wanted life to be like and slowly refining that vision over time. I challenge you to then take those notes and get them into a Google document or a Word document and keep it super accessible so it's something that you can come back to regularly and then add to it or delete things away as your life and vision changes over time. Now, if that sounds overwhelming to you, if trying to think about the future and what you want just sounds daunting and you're like, I don't even know what I want, then the second exercise is for you. In this one, I want you to do what James Clear would call inversion. I want you to write down for 3 or 5 years or 10 years out what you don't want your life to look like. We all have people in our life that, no offense to them, we don't want to end up like. We know them. We see them in our family. We see them at work. We see them in our churches. We see them around town. We even see them maybe on YouTube videos. Now, think about their life and then think about all the things that they have done that probably led them into that scenario. Now, the last question you ask in this exercise, now that you know where you don't want to end up and you know some of the steps that that person took that made them end up there, is simply, okay, how do you make sure that you don't do those things? How do you make sure to avoid doing what they did? And with these two exercises, dreaming and writing down what you want your future to look like while simultaneously writing down what you don't want your future to look like, you can start to paint a much clearer picture of where it is that you're going. Now let's talk about contentment. So one thing that I found that's helpful to build contentment is to deliberately practice delayed gratification. If you see something on Amazon that you really want and just have to have it, and even better, it's actually in the budget and you can afford to get it, still, I want you to just wait. Just wait one day. Practice waiting until tomorrow. You still get the thing, but start practicing waiting and watch and see how having to wait just a little longer really isn't that big a deal. Now, the second thing you can do to increase your contentment is to increase your gratitude by gaining perspective of how awesome your life actually is. Two of my favorite podcasts are Hardcore History and Jocko Podcast, and if you haven't heard them, I encourage you to download them now.
Do it! Do it!
Both of these shows will open your mind up to how truly horrific life can be and expose you to what history can teach us about being human, about what it means to truly struggle. And every time I listen to one of these shows, I then look at my mountain, my little bitty mountain, because it starts to look like a little bitty molehill compared to what so many people for so many centuries have had to fight before me. Little old Nick living in 2019 America, I've hit the lottery. And my bet is that if you're watching this video right now on the internet, on your phone, you probably have too. You can't listen and learn about what Julius Caesar did to the Celts without truly recognizing just how amazing our life currently is. And when you gain that perspective and that gratitude for where you're at, then you recognize that, hey, becoming impatient, well, it just makes no sense. What's the rush? Life is really good. Now is the time to just grind it out, focus on where you're going, enjoy where you're at in the journey, because it's all a part of the process. All right, guys, so that's how you can build your patience muscle by gaining more clarity and contentment. Now, if you liked this video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment down below and tell me, which one do you struggle with more? Is it clarity or contentment? As always, subscribe to this channel for more videos just like this. And remember, I can teach you how to build your patience, but I can't make you do it. The choice is yours. I'll see y'all next time.